you, Andrew. And happening this afternoon, President Donald Trump gives a speech in Des Moines. The White House says this is the kickoff to weekly trips across the country, which the president plans to make in the run-up to the 2026 midterm elections.
And News 8's Shelby Kluver is live just outside of Des Moines right now. Hey, Shelby, what will the president be talking about?
Hey, good morning, guys. We are just in front of the Horizons Event Center in Des Moines. You can't see it behind all these snow trucks. They just pulled up in the last few minutes to kind of block this area off. But this place is going to be packed in a few hours once the president arrives, and he's going to be talking about energy and the economy. I know these are two broad topics, but these are two things he campaigned very heavily on, especially when he was in Iowa. And it's something that he's talked about a lot while being president. It is also something that's on a lot of people's minds. We have a new survey that was just out this past Friday, highly anticipated, from the University of Michigan. And it said that the majority of Americans right now do not feel the economy is in a better place than it was a year ago. That same survey also found that Americans think inflation is going to keep getting worse because of the president's tariffs and immigration policies. And I want to bring your attention to another poll, a new CNN SSRS poll. It found that right now 3 in 10 Americans do not think, only 3 in 10 Americans think positively about the economy. That same poll found that 64% of respondents, which includes about half are Republicans, think the president is not doing enough to lower prices on everyday goods. Affordability has been a very hot topic right now, but it's also something that the president has talked about a lot to reporters in the last few weeks, to crowds, and he's called affordability a fake word made up by Democrats. So we'll see what his messaging about affordability is today.
Interesting. So how about that other half of his focus? What could he be talking about when it comes to energy?
Yeah, when he was on the campaign trail in Iowa, I can remember being at these rallies. He promised to cut Americans' energy bills in half. And a year into his first term, that hasn't exactly happened. But I do have some good news for you. Right now, gas prices are down about 10% than they were a year ago. But I should point out, oil and gas prices have a lot to do with a lot of factors. It's actually a very small amount. It's because of the president or who's sitting in the White House. But something that's on the rise is utility bills. Power Lines is a national energy and electricity nonprofit, and they say that right now 1 in 3 American households are struggling to pay their utility bills. I just got mine from Mid-American for December, and it was not a pretty one. You know, I'm feeling that pinch as well. And all of this is coming as the demand for energy across the country, including in the QCA, is rising. One of the factors behind it is the rise in data centers, and Iowa is a huge data center heavy state, one of the leaders in the nation. The state right now has about 100 data centers, and I will say the vast majority of those are centered where I'm at right now in the Des Moines area. There's a lot out to the western half of the state, but it's a growing thing in the eastern side of the state. We have 3 in the Quad Cities, including, that 300+ acre site that Meta has bought in Davenport for a future data center. And all of this comes as the president has slashed funding for green energy products. That includes $13 billion nationwide and $60 million for green energy products in the Quad Cities.
And we're now in an election year. Do you expect to hear anything from the president about the upcoming midterms?
Yeah, I'm going to be listening really closely to see if he says anything about endorsements. One that he has given out in the past is in the 1st Congressional District. The president has endorsed Congresswoman Mariannette Miller-Meeks, who you heard from just a few minutes ago, several times. And it looked like it might be another tough year for her. This has been a very highly watched race by Democrats and Republicans. Miller-Meeks is seeking her 4th term in office. The presumed Democratic frontrunner, Christina Bohannon, of course, we have to get through the primaries first. But if she wins the primary, this will be their 3rd time facing off. And they were separated by just 800 votes in 2024. But you go back to 2020 when Mariannette Miller-Meeks faced off against Democrat Rita Hart. Miller-Meeks won by only 6 votes. So we'll be really interested to see if he says anything about that race tonight.
Yes, and you mentioned that this is a kickoff for the president, that he'll be traveling the country every week leading up to the midterm. So why is Iowa the first place that he's stopping at, Shelby?
Well, all roads lead through Iowa. But seriously, this is a state that is close to the president's heart. He has won this state all 3 times that he's been on the ballot for president here in Iowa. It was the first state that he was on the presidential ballot for back in 2016 for the primaries. And it's also a state that has trended a lot more conservative over the last decade, the last 3 presidential elections. But it also is a state that Democrats feel there's some opportunities for. Coming up in November, there's going to be 4 major races on the ballot in Iowa. For governor, for the Senate seat, Joni Ernst is not rerunning, and then for 2 highly contested congressional seats, one of those includes for Marinette Miller-Meeks' seat. All 4 of those right now are held by Republicans, but Democrats sense that there is maybe a chance for them here. I mean, take the governorship. Rob Sand, the presumed Democratic frontrunner, just raised a record $9.5 million for his campaign in 2025. That is about double what Randy Feenstra, the presumed Republican frontrunner, has raised, and it shatters a record in Iowa. So even though these are all Republican-held seats right now, it could be a competitive November.
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. Live in the Des Moines area, we'll be seeing you throughout the day here on WQAD. And for full coverage of President Trump's visit to Iowa today, head to the News 8 Plus app, download on your TV, and watch for free. Our coverage continues on GMQC at 8, only on the Plus app.